All right, back over here at John's. Last week was the very first initial fire for this thing. I had Colton's little shorty headers on it for twin turbos. So now I've got some Hedman Hustler fender well headers. This ought to make it able to rev on it and all that stuff. Should make it sound a lot better too. All this paint's probably gonna come off. This is just cheap rattle can, like the 96 cents. Just throw it on there because they were rusted and ugly. Had to weld up a bunch of holes where they sat and rusted, which is awful because it's like a $500 set of headers. But that's what happens when stuff sits outside. These are off of the S10 back when it was naturally aspirated, and it was a 14-to-1 406. It's probably going to blow stuff all over the place. Put these down here because Dad said it's going to score up that floor, and he's probably right. So I'll put the cardboard there to possibly stop that. Yeah, John really didn't want me to make a mess on this floor, and I've done really good. I haven't spilt nothing or made no mess, knock on wood. Not yet, at least. I'll put them on there, fire it up, and bring the idle down. I'm going to idle at about 1,000, 1,100. The last video had it idle at about 14. That was just to keep the splash up on the lifters. Well, yeah, this thing is cold. Not fired it, not started it, not done nothing with it. So we're going to try a cold start on this rig. Now granted, it's 50 degrees outside, but even still, the engine's still cold. So we'll see how it does as far as a cold start. Run the valves, check all that. But I just want to see if we can get a cold start on this thing. A little rowdy. All right, this is after a little carburetor tuning. Got the idle down a little bit, so I'm gonna fire it up. All right, there's John's 383 after a little carburetor tuning. Blow this exhaust out here. Look at all this. That all blew out of them headers. Come over here with a broom and clean it up. All right, over here at John's today, and we're fixing to take on the task of pulling this engine and trans. Is it gonna be easy? Not at all. Is it gonna be fun? Nope. This will probably be the last time this car ever runs with this engine in it. This engine and this car have been together since 1974. They're fixing to get a divorce. A divorce. We grab it on the button and hit the thing to open this door. They might be able to. They might be able to. Little bit backwards. All right, let's get this started. Let's see if my technique works. Most of these rigs, you go 3 pumps to the floor and they'll start. Oh, this thing is so cushy inside. This is a buzzer. 1, 2, 3. We got that started. Yep. She knows she's coming out. Now, I mean, if anything, I can pull it up a little bit and do it close to the outside. But I think that's good. Died on me, but I mean, not bad. This is literally this car's last 60 foot with this engine. If I can get it out.
Done a little dig in the gravel.
Yeah, good little moves. That goes what's wrong. And it's a single track.
Oh.
We'll put one hand up here and one down there so it stays balanced. Now look at all the lighting on everything. Now we can see good. It's immersion. Alright, these need to go in the hood. Take those two and this one, and the other one is literally right there. Yes. Points. See right here? There's a lift point. There should be another one somewhere. So you hook a chain. I should have thought to grab a chain, but you know.
Yeah, I know you looked at that breaker off there.
Yeah, such a big breeder. I mean, look how wide that thing is. The Pontiacs are massive. All that extra weight. All right, we're going to pull the radiator and disconnect some more stuff and go from there. I'll probably need to jack it up and put it on stands. Me and Car's taking all the stuff off his car, and I just realized all this stuff has been here since it rolled off assembly line in '74. So this is the first time this car has been touched since, 1974, 48 years. So she's a virgin. Oh, that's pretty funny. But yeah, since 1974. We are the first people to do anything to this car. As far as full radiator and all this stuff. It ain't been out since it was assembled. That's pretty cool. All right, radiator out, shrouds out. Coolant lines are off. Everything's drained. And so far, I've been able to catch every bit of it. All right, I've got everything loose, everything apart. All the stuff off the top end. Got to figure out where the other mounting point is for the lift to pull this thing out. I mean, worst case scenario, I could go to that corner of the head, this corner of the head, and pick it up like that. But I was looking at the trans. I don't think this transmission is going to work. I mean, for the 383, I don't think the trans is going to bolt up. And it's pouring fluid. So, I mean, it may be just better off to get another transmission. Like a Turbo 400 with a trans brake or something like that. Because, I mean, this one goes into gear and feels fine. But, I mean, I don't know. I'll just have to look at it and see. But I think I'm going to have to separate the trans from the engine, pull the engine, and drag the transmission out. But I got to get this car up a lot higher than this. I can't work with it being this low. So I need my things that I roll it up on, and then I need to put jack stands in the back. That way I can pull the drive shaft and all that. All right, waiting, I got some chain. Come back. Got the chain on it. Figured out how these motor mounts work on this rig. There's 2 bolts. There's actually like 4 bolts. There's one big bolt, and there's a bolt in the front and a bolt in the back. Finally got the exhaust off. It's hanging under there, which was ridiculous. This rear brake is stuck. I mean, like super stuck. But I was able to get the drive shaft out. Yeah, I got the exhaust loose. I got to take it loose from back here and then feed the whole thing out. And then let the transmission slide forward. We got to take the starter off to get the wires disconnected from that rig. So I'm getting it. Just a bit of a fight. All this stuff ain't never been off, so I don't want to let go. Right, the cherry picker is holding the weight of the engine. See, check it out. Look at that. Now I got the jack under here, under the trans. So I'm probably have to lower the trans a little bit. All right, I'm about to divorce this engine from this car, and they've been together since 1974. That's pretty much, they're almost split up. They're just fighting over the kids right now. So when the custody is figured out, she's coming out of there. They're fighting over who's getting the kid on the weekend. See, they're separated, but they're still in the same home. She ain't quite packed her bags and got out of his house yet. So,
It's getting messy.
Yeah, it's getting messy. She's done poured salt down his carburetor and slid his tires and everything else. But all that aside, I'm fixing to pull this engine. It's on its way out. Finally. God, this has been a fight. It's been the hardest engine pull I've ever done in my life. And I pulled engines out of S10s, V8s out of an S10 by myself with the whole front end on. So, yeah. This has been a fight. The judge ruled, divorce has happened, she's out of there. I did it without making any major messes. There's a couple drips. It's just impossible to not drip fluid when you're pulling an entire engine and everything out. But I was able to capture the majority of it. I mean, I don't think nothing hit the floor. So, there you go. That ain't my normal repertoire. Normally I cut that sucker out, drop the fluid wherever it was, and just roll with it. But
We are normally out in the gravel when we do stuff
yeah,
like this too.
I mean, at least it rolled. I was just going to push the car out. That's what I was like, opened the door for. I was going to push the car out. And I remember I had on them stands. And if I let it all the way down, it'll sit on the cherry picker. Why do y'all design cherry pickers that are too tall to go into cars? I don't understand that. Somebody needs to modify that design. But whatever. Yeah, if we can figure out a way to make it roll and still go under a car, that'd be killer. But the Pontiac 350 is out. This trans will not work for that 383, so he's going to have to be getting him a transmission, which sucks. But I mean, it was a 50-50 shot that this was going to be a multi-pattern, and it is not. This is 100% Pontiac only. So it is what it is. So he can be looking at transmissions. Probably going to go with the Turbo 400 with a trans brake. Just spend the money, get one that'll absolutely be killer. But yeah, I guess while he's shopping around for a trans, I'll be doing some brake lines, cleaning all this up and painting everything. There it is, it's out of there. All right, I was talking about divorce earlier, and we just divorced this engine from this car. And how old did we say this was the other day? 48 years old? He's trading in his 48-year-old wife for his new 18-year-old girlfriend. Moving the old wife out, bringing the girlfriend in. She's a whole lot meaner and a whole lot more feisty and everything else.
Two big old turbos.
Yeah. Well, she had one big turbo. She got a big butt. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was funny. 48-year-old wife replaced by, she's barely legal.
She's still a virgin.
No, I done fired her up.
You didn't take that from her.
Yeah, I punched that V card first thing. But it is out there. Now we're going to sit over there and we're going to call it a day. All right, so ends this adventure today. All right, folks, this is Big John or John Wilson. Like I said before, no relation, but he's a good fella. This is his car, and this is his engine, and this is his place, and this is the fella I'm doing this stuff for. So, this is the first time he drove up here today. Carla, if you hold this, so he can hear this engine in person. Well, he didn't specifically come here to do that, but that's these hair are probably going to blow dirt all over the place because they have rust in the collectors. that, yeah, that's with that little carburetor stuff on it.
Skull Garage.